Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, it's Pep Talks in the morning. And my name is Anthony Dufu, Deputy Political Leader and your host. And I'm joined as well today, special show, with Alberta. Alberta, wait a minute. Hold on. Alberta is my co-host today. Could you believe this guy? I'm just kidding. It's just one of those mornings. I have not slept yet. Just kidding. Again, it's one of those mornings as we do it. But yes, my co-host Alberta Stacey Pudine, Bartaria. Is it Bartaria San Juan Shadow? Well, I should say caretaker. Good morning, Alberta.
Good morning.
So yes, I've had much coffee this morning, so I'm bouncing off the walls, Trinidad and Tobago. Just try to stay awake, because yes, it was one of those nights. I have to say, very, very interesting. Work cannot done. Hear what I'm telling you. At all. Alberta.
Hi.
I know I just went off on a rant there for a second.
That's okay.
What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, as you can see, I'm actually bouncing off the walls today.
Yes.
A lot of excitement going on. Lots of things to talk about on today's show. A lot is happening here in Trinidad and Tobago, So what's going on with you before we actually jump into it? Is everything... How has your day yesterday and night?
It was very hectic.
Hectic.
Because I was present. I was actually dealing with Wassa from the last show.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely be touching on that, Trinidad and Tobago, with the whole situation that we have going on in San Juan, with some raw sewage emptying out into the river. But like I said, we're going to come back to that. But so other than that, everything is okay. Everything is normal. Everything is cool. All right. Well, again, it's a great pleasure to have you here today. And I know I was like all over the place before the show. But yes, Trinidad is one of those mornings. It's going to be a great day today. And yes, I would say that because, you have to speak it into existence. Traffic coming down the road was fairly clear. The weather is also very nice outside, not rainy or anything like that. So it looks as if we may just have a fairly okay day today where that is concerned. All right, so let's just get right into it. I just wanted to touch a little base on the pharmacy board indicating that they have a shortage of masks, which is supposed to help towards the coronavirus in the event that we have an outbreak here in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's ironic that, our health minister has been saying in the public that, we're ready.
Which we are not.
Which we are not.
Yeah.
And we're constantly saying that, and Trinidad and Tobago, don't take this lightly. I mean, we have to keep in mind that even without an outbreak, without any major catastrophe taking place on the shores of Trinidad and Tobago, with a normal day, when you go into any one of the health facilities, whether it be in Port of Spain, at the Eric Williams complex, at San Fernando, look at the emergency room, look at the emergency department, and you tell me if you think we, Trinidad and Tobago, is ready for an outbreak or any type of major catastrophe for that matter, whether it be an earthquake, whether it be a tsunami, what have you, really and truly. We're talking about a virus outbreak. It's not as if you can have such great control over such a thing, because there is a period that you don't even show symptoms. The scope of this is, you sit and you look at the first world countries around the world. You have Italy, you have Japan, the US, for example, the places that Iran, these places have been hit with confirmed cases of the coronavirus, and the steps that they have been taking proactively in trying to quarantine and have a level of control of the situation. I'm not seeing us doing that here in Trinidad and Tobago. We've just had our carnival come and go, no problem. Everybody just, hey, let me go, fet, wine, drink, have a good time. Everybody in the middle of the road and, partying, interacting, who doing what. My point is this, a lot of my friends were a little upset with me having to say to cancel carnival. Look, I am seeking the interests of the population. I'm seeking the interests of the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago, because, not being ignorant or naive, actually seeing the environment that we operate in, that we live in as citizens, knowing especially our health sector is not capable of dealing efficiently with day-to-day issues and problems and emergencies that our citizenry is dealing with. Coming into that emergency room, when you talk about a virus outbreak, this is a whole different ball game, and we are not being proactive enough in my mind, because what I'm seeing is a lot of talk, a lot of showmanship, and wow, yeah, we are able to take care of this situation, we will have control, and Trinidad and Tobago is ready, and that's coming from your health minister's mouth. This is what he's telling the public. But then on the other hand, now you're going to have the Pharmacy Association coming out, and in fact the pharmacy board president was the one that said that they have a mask shortage. And just, what was it, not a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago or so, we sent 150,000 masks to China.
Yes, we did.
Right, as a good gesture. No one says no. It was wonderful. Yes, well played, Mr. PM. But really and truly, brother, look at the environment that your own citizens are in, and realize the risk that we ourselves are under with this type of situation unfolding on a global scale. Mr. Prime Minister, no one says no. Yes, I'm sure you probably had your discussion maybe with the Chinese embassy ambassador or whomever, and as good gesture, we are doing business together and we have this great partnership. But you have to keep in mind, China versus Trinidad. Trinidad can't help China. There's nothing Trinidad could do to help China. I mean, we have to be realistic about this. Good gesture or not, Trinidad is a speck on planet Earth. And to say, our GDP, we not making no kind of money, the place is in a mess, a total mess. You're looking at a powerhouse such as China, alright, that is one of the superpowers in the world today, that the economy is one of the largest in the world today. What are we doing sending masks to China? That's my question for the morning. What do you say there, Alberta?
Yeah, what are we doing when our citizens not even being taken care of in our own country?
Exactly.
It's quite confusing to me and to everyone else. What procedures were implemented in case of any situation concerning the coronavirus and stuff? What was done? What procedures? What is it? Just we just don't know nothing. We just wait on word and that's it.
Yeah, we're reactive, not proactive. Yeah. That's the practice we've always adopted in dealing with things in a reaction manner versus with dealing with things in a proactive manner. It just simply makes no sense. We always wait to get burned and then want to go and put the plaster on it before not realizing that just simply put the gloves on and know that you're going to protect yourself. Proactive. Why are we waiting? Because they had a couple cases, one in Tobago, I believe, one in San Fernando, and they both came up negative because there was a suspicion that it may have been the coronavirus that these people were infected with, and it so happened that at least that's what they are saying, putting into the public, that it was not the coronavirus. We, in recent time, I think yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, the General Hospital in Port of Spain admitted a Canadian citizen, if I'm not mistaken, pertaining towards possible symptoms of the coronavirus. So I think that they're doing tests on him right now and waiting for results. Let's see what that would say to the public, when those results do come back in. But the question is, if the results do come back in as it being positive, what are the steps that we are going to take at that point? Because now we have confirmation that it's on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago. Who else did this individual had direct contact with? Whether he was coming in on boat, whether he was coming in on plane. How many people literally he was in contact with between where he came from till where he came into the hospital in itself. And there are cases in the hospital a few days ago that I was talking to a couple of people that was also saying that they are not directly ready and prepared and protected as the nurses and so on within these institutions. They're not fully protected, and they're not feeling safe. I'm not sure if that's the case still today, Wednesday, 4th of March. But again, proactive measures, they're supposed to have what they need in order to ensure that they, at least as the medical arm of things, are protected.
Yes.
I don't know, Stacey, what are we doing, girl?
We have a failed economy, I should say.
Well, yeah, and it's funny as you bring up that whole failed economy in itself. The Prime Minister was mentioning that with an outbreak, even without the outbreak directly on the ground here in Trinidad and Tobago, on a global scale, the effect that it's going to have internationally, it would put strain under our own economy here in Trinidad and Tobago. And we're not even talking about if this thing actually has a full-blown outbreak here in Trinidad. Let's just imagine Trinidad does not get affected, God willing. We are importing almost 70% of what we consume.
Yes.
And there's a lot of key things that we use from that importation in order for us to live as a citizenry. That having an effect for Trinbagonians, what would be our position at that point? I mean, we constantly keep saying we need to feed the nation, we need to be able to be food independent, be able to, regardless of what's happening outside of the shores of Trinidad and Tobago, that we ourselves on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago is in a position to feed our population with ease. We are supposed to be in that position, but unfortunately we're not. We're not in that position, and that's just food we're talking about. We're not talking about any of the other things that we have to depend on having to be imported into the country. I mean, is there anybody within government? I sit and I look at the UNC, unfortunately. I mean, it's so funny. It's so funny, and I had put out a post there day before yesterday, I believe, with the same UNC. I mean, what are they? Are they couch potatoes? Are they just there to warm the seats?
Yes, they are.
I mean, really and truly, Trinidad and Tobago, tell me, because really, I mean, come on now. And this is what was written: United National couch potatoes. UNC should be doing right now what the PEP is doing, and that's a fact. UNC should be engaging the population. UNC should be educating the population on laws and policies, plans they have going forward. Again, this is what the Progressive Empowerment Party is doing ourselves, empowering, giving information to the population, letting them know what the actual agenda is, what the policies are, how the benefits is going to benefit the citizenry. You, Trinidad and Tobago, your family, the generations going down the road. This is what this right here is all about. It's the 21 policies at a glance. And in all, we have 100 policies. But we do believe that within this first 5 years, as key policies to ensure is on the ground and rolled out for the population, we are saying that these 21 policies is going to make a major change for Trinbagonians in Trinidad and Tobago. End of story. Full stop. They've been studied for over 10 years. They've been tried, tested in countries around the world. We have taken special account on the demographics of Trinidad and Tobago, on religion, on race, on the entire the whole of Trinidad and Tobago and its citizens across the board. Fine-tune these policies to cater for that said way of life as we know it, our way of life, Trinidad and Tobagonians' way of life, and fabricated policies that can really bring a level of betterment to Trinidad and Tobagonians, with a system in play where we can break it down to you and indicate exactly how these things are going to work, ballpark figure as in possible cost factors behind these policies, time frames, and the model that we plan to roll out for the population as well if you are putting us into government. I'm saying that we are creating proper checkpoints throughout the entire length and breadth of our time of 5 years being in that parliament to answer to the people, as in cost factor, as in effectiveness, efficiency, if there are cost overruns, if there are issues, bringing the information to the population so you're not having to guess as to what we are doing in government. You, the people, have to know for a fact every step of the way that we as a political party that you have chosen to put there, given the chance to bring a level of change to the population, to bring betterment to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, that is the whole purpose of going into that voting booth, you know. You, the citizen, have to understand in your mind that the person or entity that you are placing in the parliament to govern your affairs. Hear me out, eh? This is your affairs. The country of Trinidad and Tobago, everything that happens here should be in benefit to you, the citizen. People inside that parliament are public servants working, supposed to be working for the people, and the only job that they have is to bring betterment to the people. End of story. Case closed, full stop. It's that simple. So it's not rocket science. We're not trying to go to the moon or Mars here. We're just trying to bring a level of sanity, make things work sensibly that can actually benefit the people. The laws giving rights to the people. Things working, education, giving you proper education, healthcare, giving you the top, best, first world healthcare, security, crime at a minimal. Every issue we deal with in Trinidad and Tobago is not to say that we don't have solutions. We have solutions at the Progressive Empowerment Party. Very simple, straightforward solutions. And I myself am personally sure that there are solutions on every other political party's roster, I should say. The question is why have they not implemented these solutions? Why have these solutions not worked under every other administration passing through the parliament? Because they say that they have, or they are aware of certain things. They say that they have new techniques, they're trying new things, they're talking to new people, they're doing new reports, they're doing all of these different things. But yet we are still, the citizenry is still in the same place, same position, no spending power. Education, we have over 7,000 students failing the system. Healthcare is not working. I mean, we going over the list over and over and over. Potholes in the road. Place have a pitch lake, right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Could you imagine this?
Correct.
We have a pitch lake in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad.
And our roads are deplorable.
One of the worst in the Caribbean. Trinidad and Tobago roads. Why is that? Why is that? Why? Please, somebody answer that question. Please. Please, please, please. Because it's beyond me. I can't be a citizen in Trinidad and Tobago and having a level of ability. You see, I don't like to use the word power,
Mm-hmm.
See, when people get at that whole concept in their head, I in power, or we gonna put them in power. It's not power. No, the power is the people. Oh gosh, Trinidad and Tobago, here now. This morning are real hot, Like I say, I'm bouncing off the walls. Really and truly. There's a whole cup of coffee. Well, not a whole cup, but I should say a whole mug. Anyway, a little light moment there, but really and truly, Trinidad, the reality is that the betterment that you seek is right there at your fingertips, And this time around for the year 2020 election, we are going to be making history in Trinidad and Tobago because Trinbagonians have a real opportunity for betterment, true opportunity for betterment, one that you've never had. In the length and breadth of our independence, 58 years, come and gone, 11 administrations passing through that parliament. You have never had that until now. I can safely say that. I can safely say that. And why I can safely say that? Because we have the proof to show for the years gone by, all the administrations passing through that parliament, to date, we, the people, still do not have hope and opportunity. We are still trying to leave the shores of Trinidad and Tobago to run to a first world country to get a nice job and to get some US money, some US or some pounds or some euros. So this we could send back to the family and say, well, it's a 6-1, is a 8-1 or a 10-1 that we have exchange. So yeah, we could help the family. But at the end of the day, we can have that environment right here. We can make sure that our dollar gains value backing against the foreign currency. We can ensure that the people on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago, with the TT dollars that we have circulating on the ground that we have to use, has real value. Who's the economist? 57 years. How many of them passed by? Any economist looking at this program right now? Is any of you able to give a plan as to one, why, or reason I should say, one, why we have not had a gain in our dollar backing against any foreign currency, or the value in itself having gained value on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago, or the citizenry of the dollar using it in Trinidad and Tobago having spending power, right? I went to the grocery it's just yesterday to pick up 2 little items, girl. I spent $200 and I saying to myself, I asked the cashier, I say, girl, let me see that bill for a second. And you're talking items are no less than $10, Items are on average in the grocery at the supermarket, an average of around $10 and more. It's very rare you're finding products for less than $10. So you're talking about for a little block of small cheese, little thing, little block of cheese, $20.
Yes, and that's the issue there, Anthony. When you have an economy in the macro environmental objectives, you as the government body, supposed to have low inflation, stability of payments, economic growth, low unemployment, and we have the opposite of everything.
Wow, I love how you just rattled that off there. That sounds great, right, Trinidad? I mean, really and truly, you just heard that. And this is a regular citizen, is what I'm saying. Yeah. You know what I mean? Someone who is seeing the environment that we're in and identifying issues or missteps that we are making as a nation. Why are our leaders to date have not taken that initiative in truly bringing a level of betterment, man? Imbert, I can't remember you on the podium in 2015 talking about you're going to raise gas 3 and 4 times, partner. Sorry, I'm really, really sorry. I cannot remember that. And if you said that, and your followers, the supporters of the PNM jump up and ball, great is the PNM, and clap, brother, let me know, because I can't remember that. I cannot. That is not bringing betterment to the people. Raising gasoline, raising diesel, putting a major strain on the movement of goods, which obviously will now be handed down to the consumer, to the citizen, because if you're paying almost twice as much, if not more, for diesel to move product back and forth, it's not going to go to the extra cost is going to go to the citizen in itself. We have no desire in trying to, I mean, for crying out loud, man, we producing oil and gas right here in Trinidad and Tobago. We had to buy it nowhere, coming out free from out the ground. How are we not able to really, really bring, boy, if I girl, again, I think, serious.
Yes.
Serious, because
I understand, yeah.
It's hard to even wrap your head around the fact that these are people collecting a salary. The taxes are us as citizens are fitting the bill every step of the way, and yet we are still waiting to see a better day. And we just cannot. We are still dealing with the same problems: holes in the roads, traffic on the roads, no proper health care, education not working properly, crime is spiraling out of control. We simply have no spending power.
And on. I think it was last week, our lovely Prime Minister said he would take away the visas to go to Canada. Why would we want to leave our own country that is a point, I would want to touch on. Why would you want to leave your own country? This is our home country.
Thank you. I love that. I love that you just, I love what you just said. Why is our Prime Minister, and wrap your head around this one now, Trinidad and Tobago. I have to just make sure time checker. Wrap your head around this one. Your Prime Minister, Commander-in-Chief, is giving a recommendation to the Canadian government to get rid of visa application or visa requirements to enter for our citizens to enter the country. So you are influencing for our citizens. Hey, all you go Canada, go. All you run now, man. Just we opening the door for you to go Canada. Why is that? Why is that? Now, the initiative is nice. It's great, wonderful. I believe Canada is part of the CARICOM. And maybe we should have that type of system in play. Yes, of course. But just the thought and the fact of it being a thing for us to want to go Canada versus it being a thing for Canadians to want to come here. That is the whole thing right there, That is the whole thing right there, Trinidad and Tobago. What's the influence for Canadians to want to come to Trinidad and Tobago? Tell me. We're talking a lot about diversifying the economy. We know, tourism is a key player in that. And in itself, it can contribute tremendously to our GDP. Simply because foreign notes that we're going to be accepting is foreigners that we're bringing to the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, I keep using the reference to Barbados. Barbados, I believe their dollar is 2-1 against the US dollar. That says a lot. They're selling sand and seawater. Sand and seawater literally is tourism. Tourism, Barbados is their key income maker. And yet they are 2-1. How is that possible? What was the mechanics? What was the dynamics in order to create such a model? To just have it where it is. How did they do that? I mean, what was the economists on the ground putting in place systematically or ensuring, or what was the key element that they needed to ensure they had to ensure they were able to maintain that figure? I mean, I know that governments usually like to float their currency in a way where it maintains a particular zone, not having to fluctuate too far out of that zone. Okay, fine, that's understood. And again, I don't want to even really use so much Barbados as the modeler, because the point is that I want to put the focus on Trinidad and Tobago. Let us think of us. Let us think of what we can do for ourselves in bringing a level of betterment to the population, to the nation as a whole, across the board. That is the key factor here. Key factor here. And we just as a people cannot sit down and see the whole place going to hell and still stay quiet. We cannot do it. We just cannot, because enough pockets has been filled over the years. A lot of people jumping the shores, going all over the place, building big house, big building. We have Twin Tower in Canada. We all kind of building in Panama and all over the place, all over the world. TT dollars, our money, the taxpayers' dollars, is allowing certain individuals within society to be able to step outside internationally and be, I don't know, something short of a king, queen kind of scene.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
All right. Well, at this time, we're going to do a quick time check. It's 6:30 in the morning, and we are going to, Director, we have a little break coming up. Yes. So we will be back. Do stay tuned.
Antel is Trinidad's most reliable and technically experienced ICT company, providers of quality structured cabling, Cat6 data fiber, and power cables. We also stock cabling infrastructure basket-type cable trays for server rooms and data centers. Antel also installs and maintains video security systems including cameras, alarms, and electronic entrance locks for businesses and residential properties. Call Antel 674-1406 or 783-9250.
Science says that countries that have the greatest number of home ownership among families have the lowest levels of crime. Trinidad and Tobago has massive poverty, runaway crime, and an economy that makes no sense to anyone looking in from outside. We also suffer from the impact of corruption and narco-trafficking dollars being hidden in real estate, driving the prices up and drying up the supply. Banking in Trinidad and Tobago, unregulated, our mortgage system creates a scenario where the average house, the average home, by the time it is fully paid off, would have cost the homeowner twice and more the value initially paid. The government can impact home ownership, redevelop the family, end crime, and take Trinidad and Tobago to first world status simply by securing the nation's borders to end the drug trade and stuffing the containers on the port again to end the drug trade, to create a property tax system that calls for 0% tax on primary dwellings, a 5% tax on secondary homes, a 10% tax on third homes, 15% on fourth homes, and escalating until by the 10th house that you own is so onerous in taxes to keep that you have no choice but to sell it or pay full value of that house to the state every year. We need to do this to drive corruption dollars and drug dollars out of real estate and bring the prices back in reach with the average income, the average wage, the average salary. Trinbagonians do not get full value for their money, and that is a conversation we have to have. But when we're talking housing, to get the average person into their own home, it is a right and a privilege of the state to be able to offer to these people zero deposit, zero interest for up to 30 years on up to homes valued up to $1.5 million. This would reduce the mortgage payments to about $500 per $100,000. And if we remove the duties and the VATs and all of the taxes on all of the building materials and open the market to competition to drive the prices down, the cost of building the average 1,200 square foot starter home will not exceed $100,000. And with $500 a month as a mortgage payment, even minimum wage earners would be able to afford their own home. The numbers say that in countries where families own their own homes, crime is at its lowest. The Progressive Empowerment Party is very sure, in fact, we're certain, that of all the policies that we build our 21 policies on, home ownership is the most important of all the important ones. We propose zero deposit, zero interest for up to 30 years on homes up to $1.5 million. Normal bank lending criteria apply. In Trinidad and Tobago, no one policy has the greatest opportunity to impact upon the development of the society like home ownership. The Progressive Empowerment Party promises to make home ownership for all a central pillar in all of our economic development. I am Philip Edward Alexander, and this has been 3 Minutes to a Better Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, Trinidad and Tobago, and we are back. And I'm here with Alberta Stacey Pudin, caretaker for San Juan Barataria, as my co-host this fine morning. So once again, good morning.
Good morning.
We have some really interesting things taking place, and before, if you were on the show just before, I just wanted to finish reading this little piece here. Right. So it was basically about the United National Congress. As opposition, and they not actually giving the people that voice, not rallying for the people, not seeking the interests of the people, just allowing everything to go, and it just seems as if they're muted. So there was a post that was placed out, United National Couch Potatoes. The UNC should be doing right now what the PEP is doing, and that's absolutely true. So who do you think is the opposition? I guess it's the PEP. So we are trying to show you, Trinidad, put us in office, and you have a political vehicle that is able to actually seek the betterment of the people, that is actually able to speak for you, account to you, let you know that we are responsible for your betterment. But let's just go on. UNC should be engaging the population. UNC should be educating the population on laws, policies, plans that they have going forward. UNC should be standing up for us. UNC should be opposing. UNC should be on the ground. UNC should already be working since 4 years ago. Sitting in opposition, collecting a salary, talking about let's get to work again is wasting time. If you can't oppose, if you can't stand up or stand against, how could you lead? And that is well said, simply because we are brokering for leadership. We are trying to fix a situation, to create an environment again for better. Not so?
Yes.
You're not in this to shine up yourself and say, hey, well, I in parliament, and I could go in with my suit, and you're collecting a salary and cock up and be happy-go-lucky. I mean, your whole purpose in being here is because you as a citizen have seen that you have not had any benefit. You have everything falling apart around you. The environment that you have to operate in living is one becoming more and more dangerous, because crime is totally out of control. You can't even go and say, long time we could make a little lime late in the night if it's a little beach lime or
it's not safe anymore.
It's not.
And that's the thing. When you are elected as whether an MP, Prime Minister, or what governing body, the citizens place a certain amount of trust in you to fulfill your duties and responsibilities. Now, if you don't do that, then you are blatantly lying to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do something like that?
Correct.
You are put there to work for the people, and I will always stress on that word.
Correct.
You are put there to work for the people, to uplift the economy.
Yeah.
And nothing is, it's in a total chaos.
But like in your said constituency that you're caretaking right now, I know one of the highlights that we had put forth on the last show was the sewer problem, that breakage in the Sawa River.
Yes, and I would reiterate on that a little bit, Anthony. So that issue, WASA was fully aware of that. That actually happened in September the 22nd, 2019. So they had
September the 22nd. Yes. September, October, November, December, January. We in February. We in March. This is over 5 months ago. Sewage pouring into the Sawa River, and the same river that the Arangwes farmers have to use. The same river that it have a lot of low people in the low rungs of society that actually uses.
Yeah, I actually met with WASA.
Oh, so you went over to WASA already?
And we did a site visit.
Really?
Yes, I spoke to one of the coordinators yesterday as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they would contact me today with some information, but after the show I would definitely contact them, because that issue has to be sorted out. It is horrible. The stench is unbearable, Tony.
Oh my goodness. Alberta to the rescue. And you see, this is what we're talking about, This right here is what we're talking about. Proactive measures, having a line of communication, being on top of the ball to push the system to work, to push it to work. This is what Alberta is doing in the San Juan Barataria constituency as a caretaker on behalf of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And again, it simply shows the dedication that, you know, the members of the party really have in bringing a level of betterment and just having the things addressed, having solutions for the problems that we're dealing with. So, well, on the next show that you're on, I guess you're gonna give us a full in-depth update as to what's happening where that is concerned. But to date, still that is still not rectified.
Correct.
That is just crazy, though.
It is. It makes you wonder. I asked them, so is there a temporary solution until, because they told me that the pipes, they ordered the pipes. So I asked them, okay, you all ordered the pipes. Is there a temporary solution, you know, to rectify the issue, because it's residents living in that area and stuff, you know? And they told me no, there's no temporary solution.
Wow. There's no, straight out, there's no temporary solution.
Correct.
And they weren't even able to give a level of a time frame of them being able to try to deal with it directly or send a crew there to nothing.
After the site visit, what I did with them, that was it actually. Because when I called the coordinator yesterday, he told me there were no more updates. So they are moving in slow motion.
Trinidad, Trinidad, what are we doing? What are we allowing? And you know, this is the issue. What are we allowing this system to get away with? Because you know what? All the no water that we would have, for example, we are sure that there are places in Trinidad and Tobago do not collect 24-hour, 24/7 pipe-borne water, 365 days a year. But you're sure that WASA is going to send you that bill, not prorated or anything like that, not, you know what I mean, with any discount for catering for the time that you did not have water. You still have to pay your
full bill.
Your bill. I don't know, Gail. I mean, I don't want to knock WASA too much because the poor thing is, I'm pretty sure at some point going to be up on the chopping block as well as you know, most other entities, like how we've seen Petrotrin was on the chopping block, and our gracious opposition sat there and did nothing, as usual.
What I would like though, Anthony, is WASA to give an explanation, not to me, but to the citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, why this problem was not rectified since last year, 2019. Why now? Why are we now rectifying this problem?
Because
and they were fully aware of it from since 2019.
Right, because I know if you had known about that sewage problem, you would have seen them since September.
Yes, I would have.
Right, and again, that's the point. It's not to say WASA did not know. They knew. They knew of that issue and that problem. My other question is the environmental agency, where were they? Because that's an environmental hazard.
They also know about it. They are fully aware of it.
And they weren't a body that could have advocated or push WASA to get it done, because at the end of the day they're infringing on certain things. I mean, that right there is, I don't know.
These state agencies are just dormant. I just don't understand. How could you? How is that even possible?
Everybody collecting a salary, nobody cares.
No,
they're sure that the salary going to come in whether they lift a pickaxe or not.
Nothing works.
Whether they fix a pipe or not, you're sure as a public employee working for the state, you're sure you're going to collect that salary Friday, yeah? Sure. Sure you're going to collect that salary at the end of the month.
You as a government body, Anthony, when you're in office, you're not supposed to go to the private facilities unless needed to. But if you're sick, you go to the public facilities. Face what the citizens are being faced with, the failed healthcare system. The failed system in all public facilities. It's
horrendous.
Yes.
Just the other day I went into legal affairs there, and again was just simply to get a document that you go in onto the computer, you type in the name, you see the document there, you press print, you let that come out, dispense it to the citizen. I was there almost half a day
Just to get a
piece of paper that just made no sense. The efficiency factor where the government bodies are concerned is really, really horrible. I don't even understand. We're in the 21st century. Everyone else around the world is excelling, being as efficient as possible, trying to, develop their nation across the board on a national level. I mean, why are we still insistent on wanting to simply not do the job? Happy to just get a job for the boys, everybody cock up, collect a salary, and whether the job is done or not, no one gives a hoot.
Correct.
No one. So what else is going on in your constituency?
There are lots of homeless persons. A high percentage of homeless persons in the Sawa Barataria area. In poor infrastructure of roads. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I know, but Sawa especially have some huge potholes, and as fast as
open manholes.
Yeah, and open manholes, and again, this is taken care of through local government. They just recently had an election.
Yes.
What are these councillors doing right now? Well, have you guys been on the ground? Why do we still have manhole covers uncovered? Why do we still have the infrastructure issues that is falling under local government? Why is those problems still there? Why? On the campaign trail for local government, all these candidates came out and yes, vote for me, and yes, we're going to make sure we have certain things taken care of, certain things done, and we're months after the fact and we are still dealing with the same issues. The same things which were issues before are still issues today. What are we doing? Who is being responsible, and who is going to actually answer the population? Who? There's only so much the Progressive Empowerment Party can do out of government. Again, the population has a chance to place us in a position to usher change and to actually bring betterment, accountability, transparency, and responsibility for one's portfolio. We're preaching it before we get there, and I know for a fact that we are going to insist that the population hold us to task, hold us responsible and accountable, because we are saying that we don't want to have any discussion about anything concerning the past anymore. We want to look at where we are and what is necessary to be done in order to get us where we would like to go as a nation on a national level, not leaving one citizen behind. Yes or no?
Correct.
That's the mission at hand. So I remember you guys had a vid with the Taxi Drivers Association.
Yes, where they were repairing their roads from their own.
And they're still doing that.
Yes, they are. They are still doing that as well.
And that in itself, again, these are citizens taking the initiative upon themselves in repairing roads that they have to drive on. This is something that I don't know.
It's not even confusing. I don't think there's a word for it.
I mean, if that is the case, let's just take the 60 billion and divide it among the population and everybody. In front of your house, in front of your business place, whatever the case is, you deal with that portion right there. I don't know. I mean, what if the citizens are taking it upon themselves? Then why now do we have a budget? Why now do we have people that's supposed to be in government and are tasked to taking care of those issues, are not taking care of the issues, and yet we're still operating as business as usual? You know what I mean? There's no level of accountability. We're not getting a bang for the buck.
And the solutions are so simple, Anthony. If you have a board of supervisors within each constituency of health, education, security, etc., your constituency is going to be so developed. Mm-hmm. When you have a developed constituency, you have a developed nation.
That's right.
Then you move forward to economic growth.
Yes.
And the low inflation will be taken down, and stability of payments, mm-hmm. and all those things like that. But if you can't have a constituency that has MPs and it's not functional, then therefore you will have a failed economy throughout the nation.
Very true, very true, very true. I see we have a call coming in. You want to take this call? In fact,
I don't understand.
what?
I see we have a call coming in. They want to
Hey,
take
hey,
this
hey, hey. Siri, keep quiet. The heck is this? Won't jump out yourself, yes? Right. In fact, we're going to actually be opening up the phone lines in the next half hour at the other time check. In fact, that would be in the next 9 minutes. We're going to open up the phone lines. So hold those calls for the next, right after the next break. So we're going to give you that number, which in fact, I'm not going to call that number just yet. But from the next break, we're going to actually have the call in coming in. So we will, yes, have that happen at that point. So you were saying, Alberta, before I was like totally...
Yeah, we were just touching on the macro environmental objectives.
Right.
With the low inflation, economic
Yes.
growth, stability of payments, low unemployment. You know, a constituency, again, I would repeat, it is not rocket science.
Yes.
A constituency that is developed, the nation will be developed.
Mm-hmm.
It will take us to economic growth. But when you have people like for example, couch potatoes, I should say, just sit there, collect a salary and do nothing within their constituency, don't care about the people, then you would have a failed system, failed economy.
True.
You know, and what would be the way forward? There would be no progress.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. I love that. I love that. One thing I wanted to touch on, I see they were saying that the $100 polymer notes are already counterfeited. They are going through that counterfeiting process. But central bank at this point is also looking to create polymer notes for the rest of money, whether it be the 50, the 20s, 10s, and 5s and singles. I mean, you know, we were so hurried to change this note, and I keep asking myself, was there something else, and was that used as a distraction? What was the real reason as to why? Because right now they were talking about the explain your wealth and all of that sort of law that you have, right? But tell me, by that change and putting the entire country in a total frenzy, having to try to change your money out and whatnot and be questioned by the state and so on, as to where you got your cash, how many people were stopped and asked? How many people did we detain? How many cases was developed from that? The only one I can remember to date right now is some pastor.
Yes.
Right? That was it.
From Central.
Yeah. That was it. What about, I thought that this was targeting the drug lords and, you know, the crime and underworld that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, with monies that's not being taxed through, you know, drug sales or however that underworld is operating right now. How many of those people were caught? How many of those people was asked as to, you know, where did you gain this wealth? You know what I mean? We can only say in the public that we can talk about a pastor. Really? Was that initiative, was it one that even made sense? Or again, in my mind,
There were no plans there were no procedures and plan that was implemented in the changing of the new notes and stuff.
yeah, there was none. There's none.
It was so chaotic.
Yes, it
and
was.
so stressful.
And telling the people that after a certain time, you cannot change your money in any financial institution. You would have to take it directly to the central bank. I mean, why is it? Why could not the financial institutions be a middleman or broker for this changeover in funds and make it more convenient to the population, giving them the time that they need? And if there was a red flag raised, well, those individuals you have forwarded to the central bank to have further dialogue or what the case might be. I don't know, man. It's just is
Makes you wonder.
it does. It really does. It really does. So back to the taxi drivers association having to do the work themselves. That is just unacceptable, you know, Trinidad. It is unacceptable for our citizens to have to do this. I mean, for them to reach a point that they have to simply take matters into their own hands. I mean, so what? Maybe we should put them in get them a place in government.
I think so.
You know, because they're doing the work.
Correct, they are.
You know,
and
if
they have been doing this for the past couple of years.
but this is it. If local level government cannot fix infrastructure, the sidewalks, light poles, you know, what have you, whatever the case might be, and the Taxi Drivers Association is taking it upon themselves to do that, well, maybe we should put them on in local level government.
Yes.
You know, to make sure that the community is on par, and I'm sure that the community would be on par, and things would have worked, and things would have been sorted out, and issues were addressed. You know, it's just beyond me, Gil. Anyway. Alberta, it's a great pleasure having you today. You know,
Thank you.
And I know you have a few things that you wanted to touch on too. You had one of the policies that you wanted to put some
Yes.
focus on.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the policies that I would love to focus on is no more mega contractors.
Yeah, I loving that too.
Yes, I am
Yeah.
absolutely loving it. Decentralize all public developmental and maintenance work to constituencies with all contractors and employees having to reside within the constituency where projects are located. Create employment there one time.
Simple.
Simple and effective.
Drill the money straight down to the ground.
In your constituency.
That's right. That's right. I mean, obviously, there's going to be aspects of a contract or a project that they may not have the ability within the constituency from the existing contractors to be able to do that segment of work or that part of works. That's understood. But we're talking generally, the mandate should be that any job taking place in Trinidad and Tobago, any project, and in whatever constituency that project is carded or earmarked for, the mandate should be employment, or the contract should be given out or dispensed to contractors within that constituency, and the contractor themselves should have a mandate to hire their workforce from that said constituency as well. Because we're talking a labor force to get the job done. From that level to start with, that's where it should be. So again, there's no subcontracting, there's no coming from the treasury, going to the constituency direct to the contractor. Let the money be drilled to the ground, to the small man on the ground. Not one mega contractor doing the contract across the board, any constituency, everywhere, all over the place. He have the choice and power to hire his own staff and group of people that he would want to benefit from that. And you know, this I love that policy with such a passion, boy.
Which would give the infant industries time to prosper.
Yes.
Within each constituency.
Of course,
and stuff.
of
You know,
course.
small businesses, the infant industry will prosper on the way forward and stuff.
And that would also ensure that, again, even not the company, but even the labor force, the workman, have spending power in his pocket. He has money in his pocket. That also would ensure a level of circulation of cash throughout the system, which again would allow everything and everyone at every level, from the small businessman, the middle-sized businessman, and the corporate-sized businessman, everybody's going to be making money because now the population have spending power. And that's where we should be. We're not supposed to have a large portion of our population not being in a position to have spending power. You know, you have places like Laventy, Sealots, and all these other places around the country, which is P&M strongholds, no less. P&M strongholds, no less. Let's just keep that in mind, right? All the low-rung communities in Trinidad and Tobago is the strongholds of the People's National Movement. A political body that has had economic, social, political reign in Trinidad and Tobago. And they're still catching up the end. Think of that for a second. But anyway, we'll come back there.
Another one. First world development. Establish new city within easy access from all corners of TNT for officers of state currently based in Port of Spain. that will eliminate the traffic
That's right.
to and from Port of Spain, to point A to point B. Implement online and ATM payments wherever possible for ease of payment and decentralization of transactions. Properly done. This would end the hours lost to traffic faced by state employees twice daily and put essential services within easy reach of all. So therefore, if you're living south, for example, you don't have to wake up like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning to come to work in Port of Spain. You could wake up at an ample time, have fair enough time, and you get to work on time and do your job, and you don't have to face the daily struggles of the traffic.
But the traffic Port of Spain deals with every single day is due to the public offices located in the city, and there's just too large of a population body trying to come to the same place or same area, we've proposed to decentralize, to centralize government in a way geographically. In the center of the island as a government campus is what we've been talking about. We've been looking into this, where it's an even distance from each point, the furthest point of Trinidad, to that government campus. So the thing is that we're going to be redirecting a large portion of the population to another area, another demographic of geographic area of the island. And again, with that infrastructure and development being made, that would most likely be in the central area of the country, but it would not directly be, let's say, in Chaguanas. It would be off of Chaguanas. It would be off of that central town or city, as we would like to call it. But that in itself, again, would be redirecting traffic in a totally different direction and freeing up a lot of the roads if we were to create proper infrastructure, proper new roads and stuff, new road network, I should say, that would go towards this campus from different areas, different points throughout the country, from different main arteries, main roads and highways. I think that can definitely change the dynamics on the ground as far as traffic is concerned. What else you have happening there?
An end to corruption.
Another one of my favorite.
Yep. Shut down all special purpose companies and establish robust and transparent tenders processes that disconnects purchase decisions and contractual awards from the political directorate, sell non-essential state companies. So you see, this policy here, 17, is also tied into 18, and I love it.
Yeah.
And again, I would reiterate, it would give the small business chance to grow. It would help the infant industry. It would protect the infant industry. Small businesses that are trying to make a dollar.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. All right. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, we have the time check right now. We just went over 3 minutes. It's 7:03 at this point. So we are going to do a couple ads, and we're going to take a break right now. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere.
Trinidad and Tobago is in a crisis. For far too long, our people have been abused and silenced by our politicians and the business elite.
Just look around you. People are losing their jobs. Crime is at an all-time high. Our justice, education, and health systems have failed.
We all know the truth behind all that is wrong in our country. Corruption is destroying us. Billions of our dollars are being looted by a small group of business people that use our politicians to divide and distract us,
so they can take what they want, leaving us with no hope for a better country.
All of this is because we've never had leaders who seek the interests of the citizenry as their first priority.
I am here because I'm not taking it anymore.
I am here because I am not taking it anymore.
I am fed up of politics as it is in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is time we elect leaders with the backbone and the love of our people to go after the corrupt, evil elements in our country, hell-bent on serving their own pockets while we suffer.
And it is time that we as a nation take a collective stand against wrongdoing.
So we are making a plea to the nation to rally behind us.
Because our freedom of speech is being threatened by those who don't want us speaking out on these issues.
A man that I greatly respect is one of those leaders fighting for a better country. His name is Philip Edward Alexander. and he has bravely challenged the people and institutions that are destroying our nation.
To date, he has been threatened with 5 lawsuits for having the courage to ask state agency UDCOT on why the renovations of the President's house cost $89 million.
When experts in the field have estimated that that job should have never crossed 20 million.
Where did the rest of our money go? We refuse to stand by and allow any agency to use our courts to try and silence and punish Philip or any other citizen of our country for trying to seek the truth.
If you're fed up of corruption and want to be a part of real change, support Philip and the Progressive Empowerment Party in this fight.
This fight is not for him or us to bear alone.
It is a fight for you, our loved ones, and our friends.
It is a fight for the future of our country.
You can help by making a contribution to Philip's legal fees and help him and PEP expose the truth and shine light over the darkness of corruption.
Go to our website at peptt.com, click on donate, and see all the ways you can pitch in.
There is hope. Our country can be saved, but we all need to stand together. My name is Felicia Holder, Chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, and I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support.
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 I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
Despite the security and convenience advantages offered, many have opted out of the formal banking sector and have chosen instead less traditional means of saving their money. Due in no small part to what some have termed rapacious and usurious fees and rates, the public find themselves in a position where deposits of funds in the banks lead to a net loss at the end of the year, making no sense to anyone at all. The traditional relationship is supposed to be one built on depositors' funds being made available to the banks, so that the banks could make those funds available through credit to small businesses to stimulate development and growth. This would have the effect of buoying the economy and creating jobs, a net win for everyone. But that is not what occurs right now. The absence of banking service regulations creates an environment where the banks could do as they pretty much damn well please, leading to where we are today, money warehousing. The Progressive Empowerment Party advocates for strong financial service regulations, including setting and determining banks' lending and deposit fees, so as to create an environment where the banks can continue to earn fantastic profits as they do right now, and also protect depositors from overzealous profiteering banks. Deposit fees, cash checking fees, over-the-counter fees, ATM fees, we're one step away from banks charging appearance fees. It is ridiculous, and someone has to speak about it. The public does not know who to turn to. The Financial Services Ombudsman seems to be a myth. The central bank governor and the Minister of Finance don't seem to understand whose responsibility it is to protect depositors and customers from ridiculous fees run amok. So the Progressive Empowerment Party will. We are engaging this conversation with the public, hoping to get the banks and those in government presently to do their jobs. If not, an election is around the corner. Vote the Progressive Empowerment Party into office, and we will ensure that while the banks are free to make all the profits they want, they will do so servicing and respecting the customers, paying interest on depositors' funds that they use to generate interest for themselves through lending credit, and not have to rely on advantageous fees, leaking funds from customers' accounts.
What do you call it when a bunch of companies collude to set prices, fix markets, close off competition, capture regulators, and bribe politicians?
Another issue contributing to this lack of respect and service is the closed-off nature of our financial services sector and the lack of real competition among the banks. The Progressive Empowerment Party also advocates for an open market where banking and financial services are concerned. We would create an environment that invites international competition to help bring new vibrant stimulation into the economy, creating an environment where all banks now have to compete for depositors' funds, creating the environment that we're looking for. I am Philip Edward Alexander, and this has been 3 Minutes to a Better Trinidad and Tobago.
Again, welcome to Pep Talks in the Morning, and my name is Anthony Defoe, alongside Alberta Stacey Prudine as my co-host today. And for those of you who missed out earlier, we had a lot of content, a lot of things that we spoke about. I'm here with Alberta, and we were actually going through a couple of the policies and stuff. And Alberta, what was that last policy that you wanted to throw into the fray of things?
A war on poverty.
A war on poverty, Trinidad. That is a real thing, and we have a large portion of our population that is living below the poverty line, and that should not be so. As the third richest economy in the Western Hemisphere, per capita, behind the US as 1, Canada as 2, Trinidad and Tobago being number 3, it is not cool for us to be able to say that in the public at all. So let me hear what's happening with the war on poverty.
Make universal home ownership a reality and job creation a top priority. Encourage foreign direct investment in labor-intensive business partnerships. Set medium-term national jobs for all master plan that leaves no citizens behind. Establish living wage policy to guide minimum wage.
And that's it in a nutshell. That's as simple of a straight line from point A to B that you can possibly get. Simply dealing with the issues head on, knowing what the problem where the problem lies, and what is necessary in order to solve those problems. Enough sweet talk, Trinidad. Enough. Politicians have come and gone, and yet we are the ones still holding the shitty end of the stick, and that is the reality of it. I mean, I know I've had messy hands for a very long time now. And that's simply for holding that messy end of the stick, and it's not cool, man. We should be able to have better, period, across the board. I know we're supposed to have a video of the raw sewage that we were talking about. Yes. Director, do we have that video that we can put up right now? So Trinidad and Tobago, we're going to put a video up just for you to have an idea as to what we were talking about before. For those of you that was not sure or was not tuning in earlier and did not see that segment of it, Alberta, which is caretaker for San Juan Barataria, she got some footage pertaining towards a sewer issue in the San Juan area, actually to be exact, the San Juan River. That has been going on for several months now, where they made contact with WASA and local level government and several other entities, I believe EMA as well.
Yes.
And to date, the issue is still going on. So we are going to just give you a quick sneak peek as to exactly what that video entails and what the citizens of the San Juan area and everyone who is associated to that particular river, such as the Orang West farmers and whomever else actually have access and possibly uses the river in itself, what they are actually being exposed to right now. In fact, for months now. So, Director, we can take that to the video there.
For Sawa Barataria, and to be honest with you, you are a failure to your constituency, because you as an MP, how could you have raw sewage in these rivers, and how could you give it up forward, give it up? You are a failure, just like the rest of the entire government body that we have here. This is raw sewage. This was ruptured since the 22nd of September 2019, and up to today it hasn't been repaired as yet, and this is raw sewage being into the river. The stench is unbearable.
You could smell the sewage.
Give it up, Ford. Give it up. You are a failure, just like the rest of the entire government body that we have here.
Yes, so Trinidad, did you just see that? Did you understand or comprehend exactly what was taking place there? And this has been going on for several months, not so,
Yes,
Alberta?
September 2019.
September
And
2019.
up to date, there's nothing that is being done about it as yet. And all entities were fully aware of it.
Right. Well, and what you were saying before too, that you've been in contact with WASA.
Yes.
And well, certain people within the ranks of WASA, and they came and they archived it again.
I did a site visit
Right.
with WASA last week. I spoke to one of the field coordinators yesterday. They would contact me today and give me an update as to what is it. Okay, we did a field visit, a site visit. What else is the next step? What is the procedure? What is the solution?
Right.
To that issue.
Well, let's hope that the residents of San Juan and Aranguez and everyone bordering that river in itself can have something happen where that is concerned for it to actually be addressed, because it is a serious health hazard. It's going into a public river, a very main river artery, in fact. Because again, one of the key aspects is that we know for a fact that the Aranguez farmers use water from that river.
That's right.
You know, so this is really disturbing, and again, EMA, come on, man, get off your rear ends. WASA, wake up, all the fellas. Listen, there's enough controversy happening inside that institution there, you know, partner. WASA, all you get on the ball for me, please. Forget about it being an election year, man. I mean, look, is an everyday issue across the board, right across the nation. Create a level of efficiency. Make sense from the nonsense, man. Don't be watching roads being the said road that now paved. Do the work properly.
But Anthony, prior to the video that we did about 3-4 weeks ago, where we spoke about the same Russell situation, what has the MP for that area done?
Good question.
What has he done? I have not seen any videos.
And this is who?
Fuad Khan.
Mr. Khan. Good morning, sir. You have issues in your constituency. What is happening here? What is going on? Why are our feet still being dragged? What is the excuse as to why we cannot have your constituency on par? Why things are not able to work and make sense for the citizens? Why is there all these potholes? Why is there all the manhole covers missing or broken, where people are at serious risk, whether it be the elderly, regular folks, or children coming from school or going to school? The point is, you are the one that is the custodian for this constituency. What's the problem?
And he has, and I have not seen him voice his opinion on this situation as yet.
Yeah, but what is your opinion to voice? The point is that you
what is he doing?
have control of this constituency. The citizens of this constituency have placed you in parliament and said to you, sir, go into parliament, have your seat in the House of Representatives,
and
work for us, speak on our behalf, and seek the interests of our constituency and community. That is the simple reason why you are where you are, collecting a salary from the state. Mr. Khan, I'm not knocking you, no, brother. I just want to put it out into the public as to exactly, and to you directly, sir. Citizens are in need of you for 4 years going now. What is the problem? And it's the same thing what was said earlier with the post that I read, where the UNC is couch potatoes. You know, what are you doing? What are you? You are part of government. I mean, you're opposition. You are opposition. You have seats in the House of Representatives. You have borough corporations under your control. You have constituencies under your control, regardless of whatever the issue might be where funding is concerned.
Raise your voice.
This is it.
Raise your voice.
Ms. Padine said it.
People.
She said it in a nutshell. Raise your voice. Shine it out. Put it out there into the public space. What are we doing? What you guys are learning from PEP? You are sitting by and allowing PEP to do the job for you. We are not collecting no salary, you know. We're doing it out of the goodness of our hearts as regular citizens wanting betterment for our brothers and sisters. Simple. Because we can be in the same position as our brothers and sisters, and many times in the past, if not present, we ourselves are in the same position as our brothers and sisters of this country, Trinidad and Tobago. We have you people there for a level of betterment, period, to simply get the job done. Be responsible for your portfolio, give a level of transparency and accountability. Look, sewage in the Sawa River, brother, that's your constituency, is since September, October, November, December, January, February. Look, we're in March. We're on the sixth month. This is half of a year have gone by where a simple pipe structure could not have be placed and simply fix the problem. Because I believe that pipe was a pipe that was stretching from that side, one side of the river, elevated somewhat, to the next side of the river.
Correct.
And as far as I understood, it was a flood that took place, and there was debris coming down in that flood, and that debris is what actually damaged that particular pipe.
Correct. Very correct.
Again, you guys knew about it 6 months ago. The bodies that were supposed to deal with that, EMA, WASA, all knew 6 months ago. What is the problem? Something as critical as raw sewage. We can't have that dealt with. Why? Because nobody is jumping out themselves and saying it or putting it into the public, shining it up. Wow, I almost bit my tongue there for a sec. No, but seriously, I mean, we're trying to insert a little bit of humor because, I just find it so crazy, and my pressure does raise, because I have a problem having to know my taxpayers' dollars. I work the 13 or 12% VAT or whatever we are taxed for in every case, in every situation. It's going to help fixing the country. It's going towards paying your salaries. It's going for me to have a peace of mind that things can possibly work and make sense. But it doesn't.
Trinidad and Tobago, wake up. It's time for change. Let us not base politics, again I would reiterate it, let us not base politics on tribal persuasion.
Well
anymore.
said.
Let us base it on our job, on our portfolio, what needs to be done within the nation and within the constituencies of Trinidad and Tobago. You have the power to make it happen. Only you can make that change.
Well said. Well said. We're going to want to open up the phone lines. In fact, Trinidad and Tobago, you can give us a call at 347-4737. And again, that number is 347-4737. Call us on that number. Let's touch base with you, whatever issues you may have. If you want to comment on anything that was said today on the show, we are more than happy to be able to engage you, talk to you, hear where your head's at. As to exactly what's happening. In fact, hold on, we have a call coming in. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, is this Anthony?
Yes it is. How are you going, sir? It is, you're live on Plain Talk in the morning.
Nice. Morning, Alberta also. This is Akil Camps here, the leader of the North Hub.
Akil, man. How you doing, brother? How you doing? How your voice sound foreign there, man?
Yeah. Well, I just calling in with respect to the same issue with the sewage. As you know, I contacted the EMA on the February the 18th concerning this issue and made a report, right? And yesterday I called with a follow-up to find out if anything was done. To find out that the complaint was logged, and the complaint was logged. Nothing further.
So that's it. The complaint was logged and no one gave you any indication as to sending out a crew out there to try to rectify the problem or given any time frame, nothing of the sort.
Nothing. And the funny thing is, even when I made the report on the 18th, the person I'm going to call the name was very hesitant to take the report. She was like, well, that's a WASA issue and you should call WASA. I said, do you think I would have called WASA the very first call, which I did, and WASA knows about it, and I indicated to her also that they know about it since September, and nothing's being done. I say, so the next step is to call you. She said, well, that's not our job. I say, wait, hold up right there. The EMA stands for the Environmental Management Authority. If WASA is not dealing with an issue and it's polluting a river, the river is the environment. That's your job. You now have to deal with it. Get WASA to get it fixed or whatever.
Correct.
Right? So eventually I got the person to take the report. So I mean, the thing is, why? You're getting paid to do a job. Just do your damn job.
Yes.
And this is not just the EMA. This most of the public institutions. As you said earlier, go to work, sit down, leave work at the end of the month, you collect your paycheck, and that's it. And it seems like that's the running. In fact, some time ago, somebody told me, boy, I go and get work in the Coast Guard, or business fix, or when I work WASA, business fix. You understand? It's like once you get a public job, you're good to go. You ain't had to work, you could steal when you want. All this kind of shippiness, and this is what we had to change from people's minds. You're going to do a job, do the job. That's all we're asking you to do. Don't go beyond the limit. Just do your damn job, and the country will run better.
Yes. Well said, brother.
Yeah. So I actually tried to tag the chairman and the managing director of EMA so that they could have a direct knowledge of this issue, right? So I'm not sure if they got it, but I'm sure by now.
I'm sure they got it.
I see Philip reposted my post yesterday, and Clarence Rambarat now asking questions about it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to know about it, and I'm sure the shit is going to hit the fan with them soon. So I'm looking forward to see the immediate quick fix of this pipe. In fact, I was trying to source some pipe to go and help WASA to deal with the situation, but very good.
You trying to source pipe for WASA?
I mean, it's a big joke. That's a big joke. You are WASA. You dealing with pipe on a daily basis, yearly for how much years?
And they have to.
And you had to order pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Insane.
I mean, oh gosh.
Insane.
I don't know, this kind. Go ahead.
No, that's insane. You're absolutely correct. That's insane, because it's not to say that they don't have a listing or inventory or the size pipes used, whether be in the past, present, or possibly carded for the future. They're supposed to have that information.
Exactly. And to me, the next thing I want to ask, I deal with our next WASA issue with respect to a leak, right? I saw the leak. I saw it coming out on the verge between our school fence and the road. And this going on for months, and I decided, hey, nobody dealing with this. Let me give them a call. Anyway, when I got the return call from WASA, they were telling me, well, they know about that leak and it's in the school, and they back can't go in the school to fix it. So the school has to fix it. Now my question at the time I didn't think about it, but afterwards I was like, but wait, when a house, a regular private person, a house wasting water, they wanted to charge and all of that some time ago. What does a public institution do to a public institution that breaking the law? So in other words, would WASA charge the school for wasting water and not fixing that pipe? Yeah. The answer is no, right?
Right.
Because himself in the charge himself.
True.
Right? So the leak will go on and on and on, and which is what's going on right now. The leak just continue.
Well,
and I told you WASA man, I say, listen, it's a public institution, it's a public school. I say, oh gosh, help the school and fix the leak now, man. Go and give them some support and fix the damn leak. And I did a post yesterday again. I say, if you're not going to help them fix the leak, charge them, hold them accountable, charge them for negligence or something. You understand?
Yeah.
But I don't know, nah. We really have a big fight here to get this country running how it should be running.
Well, this is it. Well, in fact, really and truly, Akil, is a matter of really simply putting people in the positions to actually get the job done, brother. Because, watch me, we have the money, we've been spending the money, we just have not been doing it efficiently, and there's been a lot of hemorrhaging in the economy and the treasury where monies are not being applied to the actual job it's been earmarked for. it going into people's pockets, it being is price overruns, is all kinds of madness going on where hemorrhaging is concerned. The point is, again, like I said before, it's a matter of accountability and for people to really do the actual job as to what it's supposed to be done in the length of breadth of what is proposed.
Exactly. You imagine, and following up on our next issue in front of the regional corporation, I think that's the technical office on North Post Road. They have a piece of pavement breakaway. Since last year, January, that covered down with the iron part of it and it was blocked off with some tape. And I've been on that issue since last year, January. And for the local election, they came and they did a kind of similar meeting. And it didn't last a month. It started breakdown and falling into the drain and it was danger again. And now, I see they started early this year, they did a section and then they block off the next section and weeks gone, a month gone, still ain't finishing it. And the day after I did the post asking them, I said, oh gosh, it's just a little bit again. Just pile more effort and finish it. Bam, the next day I see they started work on it. So I don't know what the people, the supervisors who job is to monitor these things and encourage people, what they're doing. They're not doing the work. I had to make noise and somebody had to see my post and probably knew somebody there and say, hey, well, they deal with the thing, they're making all they look bad.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Well, I mean, Akil, again, it's a great pleasure having you. Do a call in here and giving us the 411 and what's going on in your constituency there. Anything you would like to say before you go?
All I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago is all of us have to do what I'm doing, what you're doing, and other people who are fighting for this country. Everybody have to get up and stop taking the shit that they're giving us and highlighting it and letting people know it's time they start to do their job. That's all.
Very true.
Thank you have a good day.
Much.
You too, brother. Have a good one.
All right. Yeah, better.
Well, yeah, that's right. In fact, we're gonna go to a quick break. I almost bit my tongue again. What the heck is going on with me? Well, time check right now, it's 7:33. So we're running a little 3 minutes behind time. So we're gonna hit a quick break, and we do have a guest coming on with another issue, another regular citizen on the ground. We highlighted an issue yesterday. So we're gonna bring that to the forefront when we come back.
On the average day in Trinidad and Tobago, upwards of 250,000 people spend between 3 and 5 hours in traffic on their way to Port of Spain to work in government offices, only to repeat the same insanity at the end of the working day. Entire generations have been raised in the back seats of cars, and people have been talking for decades about how do we solve this problem. We've known since the 80s that the solution to that traffic problem and all of our traffic problems is to decentralize all of those government offices out of Port of Spain. We could essentially have virtual offices where people could telecommute from the communities they live in to do the same jobs they spend 5 hours getting to a government office in Port of Spain for right now. Decentralization would save us billions of dollars in lost man hours. The Progressive Empowerment Party proposes to decentralize out of Port of Spain all government offices to a new government campus in the center of the island, equidistant from all corners. This would facilitate a shorter commute for most people and prevent everyone trying to get into and out of Port of Spain at the same time. Have you ever noticed that when schools are closed, the traffic is less? This is because so many of our people have the ridiculous situation of having to drop children in constituencies far-flung from where they live or work, or have multiples of children going to school in different constituencies, parents coming from San Fernando dropping children to school in Chaguanas, Arima, Port of Spain. The Progressive Empowerment Party proposes, among other things, an education system that assigns a GPA to each child that would allow for the continuous monitoring of performance, making every school potentially a prestige school, and ending the need for choosing schools far-flung across the island, looking for the best opportunities for your child. If all our schools operate from under the same Ministry of Education, receive the same funding, are guided by the same syllabus and curriculum, how then do we explain some schools being prestige and others not? It is time to fix all of that. And fixing this and making it possible for children to go to school where they live will also end traffic. Between decentralizing and zoning of schools, all of that cross-island traffic that caused so much problems for so many would be gone. Isn't it time that we opted to operate this country more like a first world nation and less like a backwater banana republic? Why would we need to inflict so much misery on so many when the solution is so simple? Is it because friends and financiers of political parties own the buildings that the government offices operate in? Could it be something as heinous as that? Is it something that we could address and deal with from the position of putting the people of this country first and not the pockets and the profits of friends and family of those in office? It is time that we had a government in office that took the people's interests first, that recognized that the role and responsibility of government is the well-being and happiness of all the citizens of the country and not just a select few. We could fix all of this, including traffic and more. You have the opportunity now. You have the chance.
And welcome, and we are back. Pep Talks in the morning. Again, my name is Anthony Defoe, alongside my co-host, Miss Alberta Stacey Purdine, and we have our guest here, regular citizen, Mr. Mark Ramjohn. How are you going this morning, sir?
I'm fine.
Very good, very good. Well, Mark, we really wanted you to be on the show because we have a couple clips that we would like to highlight. Now, Mr. Ramjohn has a little issue that he's been dealing with for a little over 2 years now, and again it all boils down to the inefficiency of our state, of the local and central level of government, no one listening to the issues of our citizens, and people having real assets at risk. So Mr. Ramjohn, please tell the population what is going on your end, where the state and its inefficiency, and what it is that is actually at risk for you right now.
What is at risk? Losing half the property into the river.
So you have a property that is located in the San Juan area.
Yes. This is properties on the actual riverbank by the Santa Cruz River where it meets the Saddle Road. And what happened was, the day of the earthquake, I was, I got a call from the tenants. Said the wall break. What wall are you talking about? He said the retaining wall. I said, what? The retaining wall? He said the retaining wall break and drop in the river. So what? I said, so wait. Break and drop in the river? So when I drove up there, because I actually live Glencoe, and when I arrived, I see the entire wall at about a 30-degree slope into the river, and I went like, oh my God! So I called my father, who's actually the owner of the property, and about the following week we went on to drainage. And we made a report. There was an engineer there. His first name was Sean. I won't go into his last name, as he no longer works there.
So the initial person who you went to is no longer employed with that state agency.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Right. So because they brought him out, so he's the engineer. Tralala. Right. Fine. They came up. They took pictures. Probably about the 2 weeks after, right? And he Said, fine, we'll take it from here. 2 months pass, 3 months pass, 6 months pass. I'm hearing nothing. So I go back down there with my father to find out what is going on. Is Sean here? Oh, he no longer works here. So what is going on? We don't know.
Well,
right? So who's in charge of it? Maybe you need to talk to one of the people there. Another lady came. Was Malita. I have a name somewhere here on her email. She took the report. Again, they sent up photographers, and they came and they did a site visit, and they took pictures, and then again nothing. Months pass, 6, 7, 8 months pass. What is going on? Oh, nobody is in office. I've sent this woman emails, no reply. She still works there, but we have not been able to see it. Me and my father, we went down there 2 weeks ago, and we made another. Oh, we'll send up more. We'll send somebody to take pictures. I said, but you all took pictures already.
What happened to the old set of pictures? In fact, they did pictures 2 times before that,
yes,
not so?
Yes, we don't know.
Trinidad.
Every time we go, everybody's in a meeting.
Hold that thought. Director, could you just put up pick number 1 so Trinidad and Tobago could have an actual idea of what we're talking about? We went to the location yesterday actually, and did a little live as well as took some pictures of what Mr. Ramjan here is dealing with. You can hit them with picture 1 is up. Yeah, so that pic is the interior part of the property where the border of that wall went down. Go to picture 2. Right, that is also an interior shot from the property in itself, inside the property, looking out. If you go to picture number 3, you would see now that you would see where the retaining wall actually came down, where it's compromised in that entire area. You would see a large amount of shrubs and bush, where you can't get a clear indication of the deterioration of the hillside there, that area where that retaining wall actually came down. But again, Mr. Ramjan is saying that this has taken place over 2 years ago. So you have shrubbery that's basically taken over that area, not even being able to see what really is going on underneath those shrubs and bush. On I think picture 4, you would see that's the property right next to Mr. Ramjan's property, which also has a level of undermining taking place with their wall as well. And again, it is bordering the river. Water is passing through there, heavy flow of water. In fact, you could just run through the pictures one more time. You could do it on your own speed, and then you could come back to us. But yeah, Trinidad, the point is that again, this is property now at risk, and in that said property that Mr. Ramjan has, you have tenants that's there,
yes, we
with
have
children and stuff like that.
With children, I think 2 are under the age, probably around 4 or 5 years old, but basically all the children are 10 and under.
10 and under.
Yeah, I think there might be a couple teens, but
okay.
Again, it doesn't really matter. The ages of the children.
Yeah, everybody's at risk.
Anybody
is at risk.
Can
Yes.
get damaged.
Yes. You are absolutely.
You just have to be in the wrong place of that property at the wrong time.
Wow.
And I remember when we were doing that interview with you earlier on yesterday, sorry. You were saying that at the time that took place, there was no one in the yard in itself. No one was parking their car in that area, because if there was cars parked there, everybody car in the river. In the river. Yeah. Boy, and that is another scenario altogether. Simply because who was paying for those cars? Was the insurance having that covered? I don't think so. And would the state have that covered for those individuals losing their vehicle? No. Again, there's so many people that's at risk in this particular situation. just from this one home that is stemming into other homes, other properties along the riverbank. And who is addressing this? You know, you're talking an issue going on for over 2 years. Enough pictures has been taken. There has not been any type of communication or indication of a time frame in which they would come and actually sort the situation out as far as engineers coming and coming up with a real plan. Nothing of the sort.
No.
So every time
we have
you
never
go to
heard
that,
anything. Huh?
every time you go, it's the same story. It's just nothing is being done about it. No issue.
Well, in fact, I'm really glad that you're at this show here today, because Miss Alberta Stacey Pudine is actually the caretaker for the San Juan Barataria area, which I believe falls in that constituency in itself. Yes, I'm just now knocking Mr. Khan there earlier in the show, because it falls under his constituency too. And there's so much going on, Mr. Khan, I call in your name this morning, loud and clear. Fuad Khan, correct. We call in a name this morning. We are talking to you as citizens aside from the fact that we are trying to actually bring change ourselves. But the point is you are sitting in the hot seat now, my friend, and you've been there for the last almost 5 years, and there are issues going on that, look, Mr. Ramjan, 2 years.
Mind you, I would take some blame, because I'm as I said, I don't live in the area, so I didn't really know who the MP was for that.
But still, it doesn't matter, because the MP would, if he's on the ground.
Well.
If he's on the ground,
I knew, I would have called him.
Still, I don't think that it had to even reach that level, simply because the mechanisms.
I didn't like the runaround, that drainage in Socorro South.
Thank you.
That is the problem here.
Thank you very much, because Ms. Pudine here was indicating as well there's a sewage break lower down in San Juan, in the Quasi area,
yes,
is it? Where you can see the said river that you're talking about. There's raw sewage, brother, running into that river for the last 6 months.
Video. I was watching that video with the raw sewage just going into
running
the river.
in
normal.
Yes.
And
normal.
People complaining about the stench.
You understand what I'm saying?
That
and
is,
we talk about wanting
serious health issue.
We want talking about wanting to develop tourism, to bring tourists to do what? Come and sit down and stand up and look at that, be exposed to that kind of thing.
Maybe take pictures of
and take pictures, and go back to wherever they come from and say, look, this is Trinidad.
Yes.
And I mean, really, Trinidad and Tobago, we need to be much more proud of our nation and take greater account of it. Ensure that the people who we put into office do the damn job, man. Do the job. Then we wouldn't have exactly. We wouldn't have Mr. Ramjan coming here on the show having to talk about issues at hand. That is the whole point. You are there to seek the interests of the citizenry and the infrastructure and everything that surrounds that. Period. That's your job. All 41 of you. Whether you're in government, whether you're in the opposition, it does not matter. You have seats within the House of Representatives. Represent the population. Represent the people. That's what we're talking about. All right. So, anything else you want to touch on pertaining towards your situation, or anything else that has developed over any time or anything like that?
I wouldn't. I don't think so. I don't know what more could be said. All we are asking for is to at least someone start, because it's a big project. That is a huge retaining wall.
It is.
That retaining wall will probably cost more than the property.
Yeah, we looked at that. I mean, that's what, a 20-30 foot drop.
Yeah.
If not more.
If
right?
If not
and to fabricate a retaining wall that high, that is supposed to
the average citizen can't do that.
Protect a property. You're talking water, this is a river with millions of gallons of water coming down at one point and at one given time, simply because, like, when we have the major floods, we were looking at that same little drain area that you have to the side of your property that's feeding into the river, and you were saying that when rain falls, you have this cascade of water coming down.
Correct.
That said drain almost cannot even
that is between the two
hold.
Properties, it's insane.
I could imagine
the amount of water that comes down into that. That is a main artery river for channeling water through the city back to the sea.
Yeah.
But again, a major problem in Trinidad and Tobago is that they build things, but they don't maintain it.
Very
They
true.
wait until the very when they could have done
maintenance. Yeah.
over shorter periods of time that keep the costs down. You wait until it's almost falling apart. And when time to maintain it, it's almost they say the cost is almost the price of what it costs to build
Exactly. If not more.
If not more.
If not more. I mean, look, we talk about the refurbishment of the Red House. $500 million, brother. We could have built that Red House 3 times over.
Correct.
And imagine, Uricot don't want to willingly answer openly to the public as to this as to the scrutiny taking place where that is concerned. Not even just that, with the president's house as well, the cottage in the president's property at $89 million. Really? Come on, man. We could have built that house, that building twice over, if not 3 times over as well, with that $89 million.
That money could have gone back into the economy to help the citizens.
But this is
help
it.
with the public sector, the hospitals and all those things, purchase of beds and all those things.
How much of public workers right now have not gotten their back pay?
Correct.
Or still running late with the present salaries that they have to collect and all this sort of madness. I mean, there's just so much madness going on, and the the administration is saying, bat in your belly. I remember when Rowley got into office and he'd come on public TV talking about, we know that they don't have no money in the treasury, and we are saying that we're going to go through some periods now, and for the population to ban your belly. He said that, ban your belly.
I remember that well.
Ban your belly, Trinidad and Tobago.
Showers.
Yeah. Ban your belly, Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. All ban it. You still banning your belly? Tell me now. Because we just spent $500 million on a Red House that's been sitting there for how many years now, wondering why the work has not been going on for so long. I still want to know who it has got that contract for the scaffolding to cover that whole thing for all these years. I still want to know. I want to know where that money went. But anyway, we talk about the president's house, $89 million for refurbishment. Really? What did we do? Did we break walls down and rebuild? I mean, really? You can't tell me that it's paint and fixtures and no, man.
$50 million in doors.
Let me shake your hand with that one. Let me tell me.
$50 million in doors.
And how many doors they said? It was $1,000 or something like that. I mean, when you do the maths on that working up to what? $50,000 a door. When you do the maths on that, that's $50,000. I want to have my maths right there, boy. Somebody check that there for me. I don't want to be balling that.
I don't know if it's 24 karat gold plated doors.
But it is real. Trinidad only wrap that around your head, Tell me where that wood coming from. It had to come from Mars or somewhere far.
They told us we are in a recession. All of a sudden, money just dropping from the sky.
Tell
to
me
repair
this
these
thing.
buildings, and the
government does not have its priorities.
They
in
don't.
order.
They don't. Totally mixed up.
It is a priority to spend $500 million on the Red House. It's a priority to spend $89 million to refurbish it, I think. But it's not a priority to buy beds for the hospital.
Good point. Good. Look, at the beginning of the show, we were talking. Look, the pharmacy board the president of the pharmacy board says we have a mask shortage, but yet we sitting here right now for the past month or more, looking at all the world news coming in, all the first world countries from around the world dealing with issues out of the blue. This coronavirus outbreak just suddenly pop up. Who's infected from who's not, and all of this sort of stuff. Who's taking proactive measures? We just allow Carnival to run around. All you go and fet. Wind down the place now, man. We go deal with it after. We go deal some punching go help that. That's so? and punching go help that? Go help you with coronavirus? Come now, man, Trinidad.
Maybe Rowley meant when he said ban your belly, maybe join a carnival ban. I don't know.
Well, yeah. See, I love that. I love that too bad.
Carnival ban it up.
I love that too bad. All right. Well, time check. We're at 7:54. We have 5 more minutes. I would have loved to open up the phone lines, but I know that it's actually going to take a little more than 5 minutes for us to entertain and engage with you, Trinidad and Tobago, at this point. So possibly we would want to leave that for a later show. I would more than be happy to have you on again, Mr. Ramjan. We are going to actually be following up on this with you. We're going to go to the respected bodies and actually archive the response, what they tell us as the population, as the citizenry, as to what you're dealing with, and let the public know what's going on step by step, each step of the way. So look out for that. Most likely, I'm not sure if we're going to have that out by Monday, because we still have tomorrow. Well, we still have today, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So let's see what can happen on the local level government, as well as the constituency's MP, Mr. Khan, coming to see you, brother. And I'm hoping that we can actually have a resolution to this with a time frame on attached to it. Is a level of efficiency that we're looking for, and simply to deal with the issues head on. Yeah. So Alberta, anything you want to engage Mr. Ramjan on before we go?
Yes, we would look into that as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So, like I said,
I do believe I have the first set of pictures, because I took pictures of my farm. Once I find them, I will send them to you.
Yes.
And you will see the progression. Because when it first happened, all that shrubbery that we saw yesterday, that wasn't there. We had a clear view, crystal clear view of everything, and now it looks like Jumanji.
Yeah. You're just waiting to see a saber-toothed tiger jump out of the bush, to tell you what a mess it is right now. Well, again, Mr. Ramjan, I will, after the show, you're going to take Alberta's number and stuff, and you'd have a direct line of connection. Like I said, she's the caretaker for the San Juan Barataria area, and she's actually dealing with most, if not all, of the issues within that constituency in itself, where the respected bodies are concerned. So yes, you are going to take this up in your portfolio as well. So I think that you're going to be in really good hands. So you guys are going to have communication, and I would also, because I'm in communication with her as well. So on some of the actual initiatives, I would say try my utmost best to actually be there, so we can document this very, very efficiently, very, very well. And again, we want to represent this to the public so they can see what is happening and what our citizens are dealing with, and how effective that we ourselves can be in trying to help the situation and coming up with solutions to the issues that our citizens are dealing with. So again, Mr. Ramjan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this morning.
Anytime. Thank you very much.
So Alberta, do you want to close the show today?
Trinidad and Tobago, we are fighting this fight because we believe for a change. We believe that we can have a better country.
Yes. And I would agree with you 110% with that, Alberta. A better country is what we aspire for. We can be better. We are in a position to have better. And the point is simply ensuring that we have the people who can ensure this for the population. Again, we are public servants. We are working for the people. That's what we need to insist you understand, that we understand, that the political environment of Trinidad and Tobago understands. Nobody goes into power. The power, again, is the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's where the power lies. Everyone else, as the 41 people who are representing you, the people, are doing just that. They are there to represent you, to speak on behalf of you, and to seek your better interests as the population at large, and with no citizen being left behind. So this whole rhetoric about is we time now and we time now, the we is supposed to encompass the entire country, Trinbagonians, all 1.4 million of us, not yellow side or red side or even orange side. We're talking every side, everyone, every citizen, no one to be left behind. So again, I thank you guys for tuning in today. Are we at that time? Well, yes, I have 1 more minute left.
I would like to say that
yes,
you are the only people that have actually showed any interest in addressing this problem.
Nice.
Everything else has been deaf ears.
Yeah. Well, again, we have a point to prove, and it's not just a point to show, put on a show before getting into office. Is about actually showing the competence that our team has as the political vehicle of the Progressive Empowerment Party, what we stand for. Again, we are not politicians, we are regular citizens just like yourself.
Yes,
and we deal with the same woes, same issues as you've dealt with over the years, and I just think that we don't want to have blue lights. We want to alleviate that. We want ministers to be able to be stuck in traffic, so this way the traffic minister can ensure he can come up with a soundproof plan to alleviate the said traffic. And that's what we're talking about. practicality, reality, the realness that the citizens have to deal with every single day living in Trinidad and Tobago. We need to solve these problems, and it's not rocket science to solve. It's not rocket science to fix. It can be fixed if you have the will to, having the right people.
I can also be contacted at 309-5105, 309-5105 for any issues.
Yes, issues, people. Issues, no slackness going on here. Anyway, just had to throw that out there. Okay, we here to work, not play. But anyway, Trinidad and Tobago, thank you so much again, Anthony Defoe, Deputy Political Leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party and host of Pep Talks in the Morning. I will be seeing you guys on Monday coming, so look out for an action-packed show. Look out for tomorrow's show, which Felicia's Holder is hosting tomorrow, and I believe on Friday it's going to be Lima McLeod and Natalia Moore. Yes, look out for that as well on Friday. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Save TNT, vote PEP. Have a good one, Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago is in a crisis. For far too long, our people have been abused and silenced by our politicians and the business elite.
Just look around you. People are losing their jobs. Crime is at an all-time high. Our justice, education, and health systems have failed.
We all know the truth behind all that is wrong in our country. Corruption is destroying us. Billions of our dollars are being looted by a small group of business people that use our politicians to divide and distract us,
so they can take what they want, leaving us with no hope for a better country.
All of this is because we've never had leaders who seek the interests of the citizenry as their first priority.
I am here because I'm not taking it anymore.
I am here because I am not taking it anymore.
I am fed up of politics as it is in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is time we elect leaders with the backbone and the love of our people to go after the corrupt, evil elements in our country, hell-bent on serving their own pockets while we suffer.
And it is time that we as a nation take a collective stand against wrongdoing.
So we are making a plea to the nation to rally behind us.
Because our freedom of speech is being threatened by those who don't want us speaking out on these issues.
A man that I greatly respect is one of those leaders fighting for a better country. His name is Philip Edward Alexander, and he has bravely challenged the people and institutions that are destroying our nation.
To date, he has been threatened with 5 lawsuits for having the courage to ask state agency UDCOT on why the renovations of the President's house cost $89 million.
When experts in the field have estimated that that job should have never crossed 20 million.
Where did the rest of our money go? We refuse to stand by and allow any agency to use our courts to try and silence and punish Philip or any other citizen of our country for trying to seek the truth.
If you're fed up of corruption and want to be a part of real change, support Philip and the Progressive Empowerment Party in this fight.
This fight is not for him or us to bear alone.
It is a fight for you, our loved ones, and our friends.
It is a fight for the future of our country.
You can help by making a contribution to Philip's legal fees and help him and PEP expose the truth and shine light over the darkness of corruption.
Go to our website at peptt.com, click on donate and see all the ways you can pitch in.
There is hope. Our country can be saved, but we all need to stand together. My name is Felicia Holder, Chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, and I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.
I support.
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 I support Philip Edward Alexander and the PEP.